Domestic violence is a widespread issue that affects individuals, families, and communities around the globe. It is a type of abuse that is often in a relationship where one partner tries to control and dominate the other. It can be physical, emotional, verbal, sexual, or financial. Unfortunately, domestic violence does not make the news too often. We don't talk about it. Although it is one of the highest calls for service for police services across our country and right here in Manitoba. Victims are often too afraid, ashamed to speak out, which often could lead to a fatal ending. In 2020, 160 women and girls were killed by violence in Canada. In 2021, 173 women and girls were killed by violence in Canada. In 2022, 184 women and girls were killed by violence. That's an average of 9 women and girls killed each week in our country. 51% of women and more than 1 million children are affected yearly by domestic violence, regardless of their financial status, ethnicity, or education. Madam Speaker, I chose to speak today to recognize my mom. My mom, Joanne, who had just graduated becoming a nurse, would be celebrating her birthday today. But sadly, she was murdered by her spouse. And we all became a victim of domestic violence. Domestic violence affects not only the victims, but it also affects their children and families. For example, children of all ages who witness domestic violence in their home are more likely to suffer from behavioral or emotional problems such as anxiety, PTSD, and depression. And I'm no longer embarrassed, I was for many years, to say that I deal with my own on a regular basis. We must stop domestic violence, and we can by raising awareness, providing support and resources to victims, and holding abusers fully and financially accountable.
The member's time has expired. Is there a leave to allow the member to complete his statement? Leave has been granted. The Honourable Minister of Environment and Climate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and to my colleagues. We must end domestic violence, and we can by raising awareness, providing support and resources to victims, and as I said previously, holding abusers fully and financially accountable. Creating safe spaces where victims with their children can seek help without fear of judgment or retaliation is critical. In addition, educating the public about domestic violence and its effects on the community is essential. Most importantly, to teach others how to recognize the signs of domestic violence and how to let victims know they're not alone. I stand here today, decades after, and I love my mom more than I ever have, and I think of her daily. And if me speaking about our tragedy ends or helps one woman or child get out of their situation, I know my mom would be proud. Colleagues, please help me break the silence. It's time to speak out and take action to end domestic violence for good in our country.